Let's talk real talk. First off, it's awesome to go out there and win a football game. Okay? What Coach Daggy and those guys did offensively was, obviously Coach Daggy, tomorrow you're going to hear from him, and really good coaches are never satisfied. I'll tell you that, ever. As a football team, we won a football game, but there is so much to clean up across the board on all three phases. And the opportunity to do that, and you hear the old cliche of you make your most improvement between week 1 and 2. Most of that's because you're going against somebody else for the first time in 9 months. We have 15 practices of spring, 23 practices of fall camp, where you get used to going against a certain guy. You know his traits, you know his tricks. And so now you do it against somebody else and you make some mistakes. You get eager, it's first game jitters, opportunities. There was a ton of that on Saturday. And I was really disappointed with a lot of the things that we did. We allowed them 67 yards rushing. We should have never allowed them 7 yards rushing. So give them credit because of why it came with a great plan. And when I was at San Diego State, through those times, possessions in a football game. Usually, if you run the ball like we did there, you're going to have 9 to 11 possessions in a football game. Here, with what we have offensively and what we do, which I'm a big proponent and fan of, because if there's days that we can't slow them down and Daggy needs to score points, then you better have the ability to do that, and we do. If you're a team like San Diego State where we were really good, but we ran power and counter and threw it 4 or 5 times a game, almost like a triple option team without a triple option. We weren't going to play a lot of plays on defense, and we were good. But if we ever had a night, and we lost to Colorado State one night, we couldn't slow them down, and we weren't powerful enough offensively. So here, we're going to play 12 to 15 possessions a game, and if we can get off the field, it'll be possibly more. We played 12 on Saturday night. Okay, I hate the term bend but don't break. And I think 3 of the 12 series we were that, which drives me absolutely freaking bonkers. Okay? So the very first, let's go through all 12 of them. The very first series, okay? 3 and out. Trey makes a great play on the 3rd down. And if you watch our tackling drills in fall camp, we run through those bags. It looked just like it. It was freaking awesome. Okay, second series, that's probably the second most disappointing series of the day. It's 15 plays, 59 yards. We have a 3rd and 8 opportunity to get off the field. And they throw a bubble screen out there. We lose leverage. We have a D lineman run inside out, but they're able to convert it for first down, which 3rd and 8 should be a huge advantage for the defense. We get down the red zone. We run some pretty elaborate coverages down the red zone. We have a 3rd and 10, and Max Harris does a great job, jumps outside, makes the guy not able to run a vertical route. And Genesis Smith makes a great play. He knows he's got help in the post where Jen is. Jen gets a break a second late instead of intercepting that ball and keeping him off the scoreboard period. But if you notice on tape, Genesis does a great job. We talk about dominant contact and going through somebody. It's near foot, near shoulder, so he avoids the targeting, which we work on every single day, and he annihilates the guy, and the ball comes out. So now they have to kick a field goal. Okay, we hold them to a field goal. Our mantra is know what to do and how to do it, which we screwed that off in the first half. Okay, run to the ball with bad humor, all 11 to the ball with bad humor, and keep them out of the freaking end zone. Well, we kept them out of the end zone on that drive. They scored a field goal. Okay, the third series. Okay, it's going to be a series of 3rd downs. We were 4 of 14 on 3rd down, but only 3 of 8 in the first half. Okay, we have a 3rd and 3 opportunity on the first one, and 3rd and 1 opportunity on the first one, excuse me. And as we evolve through this scheme, as we get better each week, okay, I call a defense on 3rd and 1 that schematically fits what's going to happen on the play, what we anticipated with the personnel in there. We had not practiced that. So that's coaching. That's me putting them in a bad position. As we evolve through this, they'll handle that no problem, and we'll be able to stone that play. Now, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, the offense has a huge advantage, and they should get most of those. And when you make a play on those downs, it's a very big momentum-changing play. 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6-ish, your championship down, which we view, if you win that battle, most of the time you win the football game. High statistics, if you win that battle, 78% of the time you're going to win the football game. And then 3rd and 7 plus, the defense has a significant advantage. So we've got to be really good on 3rd and 7, but we've got to be 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 6. We've got to be really good, okay? Well, we have a 3rd and 1 they get. We have a 3rd and 5 that we have a outside pressure. We have Chase Kennedy on one side and we have Trey on the other, so that we're going to get some pressure with the 4-man rush. And then we run a twist inside so that we can stop any kind of draw or any kind of zone play. Well, we don't run the twist. And on 3rd and 5, where they're out on the field, they run inside zone. It pops. The safety doesn't know where to fit. Okay. Now you're going to see Dalton Johnson had 10 tackles. Jensen Smith is going to have 10 to 14 tackles, and people are going to be like, well, their safeties are making way many tackles. We +1 everybody in the run because we have a deep tap safety or a free middle safety that becomes our middle linebacker, and it has no idea that they're doing it from 10 yards, and all of a sudden they show up at the line of scrimmage and make plays. So those guys are going to have those numbers, and then one of the linebackers is going to be the second leading tackler almost every week. Okay, so the safety comes up and doesn't know where to fit, so they convert a 3rd and 5. That's a championship down loss. Okay, now 3 plays later, we stop them on 3rd and 3, we get a sack, and Chase Kennedy does a sack fumble. All of a sudden, we got our first turnover of the game, change momentum, and we score on offense. Okay, now you go to the 4th series. Now this gets really boring, cut me off, okay? You get to the 4th series, okay? We go 4 plays, and on the 4th play, we have a 3rd and 14. And Gavin Hunter makes a phenomenal play about cutting a guy in half on an out route to the deep sideline. Now, in the future, Gavin's going to intercept that play because the call that we played, we're dropping 8. He should have intercepted it. But he gets the ball thrown over his head, gets a late break. But once again, like our bag drill, he doesn't slow down, and the receiver gets knocked 4 yards out of bounds, and they have to come over from their sideline to take him back over. So that's a big-time play on 4th down. Now, the 5th series, the last series of the half, really disappointing because that's as much coaching as it is playing in both those areas. We practice a ton about the middle 8 in this program, in all fall camp we did. And in the middle 8, you've got the last 4 minutes of the first half, first 4 minutes of the second half. We knew we were getting the ball. So let's stop their tail and get the ball back and go score. Now you've got a big momentum swing. It's almost like a run in basketball in that moment. It's kind of the only time you have a run in football. Well, we have them at a 3rd and 4, and they get called for a pick route, which was a good call, okay, because they did. The guy's blocking downstairs like it's a screen, and they throw it downfield. So now we have them in 3rd and 19. And we've been giving some pressures out of certain looks, so we show a simulator, and we're supposed to have a guy drop off the line of scrimmage, and the knucklehead doesn't drop. And so right where they throw the ball to the running back, we should have a guy standing right there, and we don't. And so now they get 12 yards on a 3rd and 19, so we stop them on the 3rd down, but now they're in field goal range. And how they got that off with 6 seconds, no idea. Good job for Hawaii, and give their Mayday team some credit. But if we lay on that guy, and we preach in Havoc, and there's that picture of Julian Supermaning to the play that you guys will see. I'm going to get a shirt made of it because it's freaking awesome. But if we lay on those guys, they can't get up and get the ball off. And we didn't. So that's coaching. I need to remind them, hey, we're in the last 2 minutes, man. Like, let's go. If you make a tackle, get 4 or 5 guys, lay on them, make the referees pull you off. And if you do it the entire game, it's not a big deal. We didn't do it, so I failed him as a coach in that moment. So the 3-0 loss in the first portion of the middle 8, shame on me, and we didn't execute it. So don't ever assume anything. So now walk into halftime, okay? And I'm really irritated because we've given up 6 points, 2 field goals. And they have like 48 yards rushing, which is really pissing me off because we'd given them some pictures and they shouldn't have been able to run the ball. And because we're not executing, we've got guys that are doing things out of the norm so that they can make plays, stuff they didn't do during fall camp. They're excited, okay? They're trying to make every play be a Super Bowl play, so they're getting out of position. And what we do, you've got guys that you can turn into robots, which is like the worst coaching thing you can do ever. But we have a lot of freelancers. We are not a gap control scheme. You can't ask a guy like, well, which gap do you have? We cancel gaps with movement and alignment. Okay, so we had guys jumping out of when we're running stunts and stuff, they're jumping out of stunts, just like we talked about on the twist, so they're able to hit some of those runs. So some of those runs are because we're too wide, we're not hitting the stunt tight enough, or we're not running through with it. So I'm walking out, and our wives sit in the end zone right there. And I look up, and I see my wife kind of smiling, and I'm really frustrated at this point. And people might see me. I mean, I do this to my wife a lot. I'll beat my heart and tell her I love her because people have no idea what wives give up for the coaches. And like today's Courtney Brennan's birthday, which is awesome, but they don't ever get the credit they deserve. And they have to sit in the stands and they listen to people tell them how stupid their husbands are. And sometimes they're not wrong, okay? So does it bother me? No, it doesn't bother me because it means people care. But if somebody talked about my wife like that, like it would bother me and I'd say something. And so they have to do a good job of keeping their mouth shut. So if anybody ever sees me walking off the field and thinks that he's not locked in because he's freaking telling his wife he loves him, that's why, because she deserves it, okay? So we go into half, and it's first time as a new staff. Where are we at, Coach Shear? How many minutes has this been? Because I'll speed it up. We're good? Okay. So we come into half, and it's first time with a new staff. Okay, so we got the DB coaches over here talking about the locks and levels because we're not on levels. We almost picked each other. We got the Coach Joe was frustrated because I'm having my words on the headset about us not running some of the stunts. And so I'm listening, and I kind of laugh, and I'm like, look, it ain't what we're doing, first off. It's what we're not doing. And these suckers need to stop being selfish and understand, like, if they just do what we ask them to do, the stuff will work, I promise. And so that was the message in some probably more colorful words. And I'm really not a big cusser because I don't like it, but there were some colorful words during that deal about, hey, just do what we're asking you to do and play fast and violent. You're playing fast and violent, but we're making too many mistakes. And if we do that, then we can go out there and we can freaking shut these dudes down. And 12 can't run. He's already limping. So DBs, if you can play man coverage, we're going to get after his tail, and we'll get that sucker out of the game. Because if he can't run and he can't escape, they're in trouble. And so 6 series, first series, second half. Next part of the middle 8. Okay, let's go out there, get a 3 and out, give the offense an opportunity to go score. So 1, 2, 3, sack him on third down, 3rd and 12, great. Got off the field. Okay, offense goes down, score. Got some momentum now, it's 24-6. Okay, we go out for the 7th series. Go again, 3 and out. The second play of that series, Gavin Hunter on the 2nd and 10, they were on a little bubble screen. He hits the receiver so hard, dude doesn't want to get up. Like, okay, now we're starting to let them know, like, hey, this is going to be a violent game. Like, this is what we're about. And so we get him, 3rd down, boom, 3 and out. They punt again on the 7th series. We go down, score. We give them the ball back. We tell those guys, what's the fast way? Now, we've lit them up 6 straight plays. We brought some pressures, okay? A lot of, 5, 6-man rush. So what's the answer? Most of the time it's going to be screen, tunnel screen by the wide receiver, slip screen by the running back, and all that stuff. So I tell Tay Brown, hey, it's coming, man. Slip screen's coming because we're trying to get 12 out of the game to see if we can get him in the pocket, see if he can run, because if he can't run, then they're in trouble. And so, and give Mike Alejado a lot of credit because I think that dude's one tough sucker. I think he's a badass, and I shouldn't use that word, but I think he's freaking awesome. Okay, can win a lot of games in that league. So the 8th play, I tell Tay Brown, like, hey, slip screen's coming, man. And Tia and Deshaun and Leroy, like those guys, they're like screen sniffers. Like they can feel it really good, better than most I've been around. Well, very first play of the 8th series, here it comes. Here comes the slip screen. Tay Brown does a great job, runs by 2 linemen, intercepts the football. Michael Alejado's first interception in like 1,000 years, which is freaking awesome, okay? Now, Tay Brown's got no offensive skills because he freaking caught the ball to 6 and got tackled to 5. But big time tournament event, now we put the ball in the end zone, okay? Now there's a big momentum shift. We've got our second one of the series because that's the 8th series of the game, 1 play, okay? 9th series comes out. They actually get a first down of the second half, which once again pissed me off because we should have dominated their ass. And then they come up on a 3rd and 8, okay? They get 7 yards on a completion. And the receivers now, every time they catch the ball, they're going straight down. Great idea by the DBs are smacking them, or our front coverage is turning and running, and the 2nd, 3rd guy in, Supermaning onto the pile is making a difference at this point. Okay? So they go 4th and 1, and they go for it on our 46-yard line. And Deshaun McKnight makes a fabulous play. Defeats 2 blockers. We get a wrapper type by Jabari Mann and Malachi Bailey. Do an outstanding job, and you stop them on 4th down. That's a huge momentum play. And what is that? That is a turnover on down. So really, we should have come over and stabbed another football and had 6 on that thing because that's the equivalency of a turnover, okay? So on the 9th series, Deshaun McKnight makes a great play. Go down, boom, score. All of a sudden, now we're starting to get in a rhythm. The game, for all purposes, is probably over, but you don't stop playing. Because if you want to be dominant on defense, and you want to have all those things that we talked about in the spring, you want to be great, this is the time, whether it's the 2s or the 3s or whoever's in there. Like, you still have the same motive of don't let them move the damn ball, don't let them score. Okay, so we go out there in the 10th series, and on the 4th play of the 10th series, they run a quarterback read, okay? And Dom Alessio should get credit for this because when Luke Weaver came in, now Luke Weaver's in the ballgame, he's a little bit healthier. He runs okay. If you go back and watch his Modesto Junior College huddle film, he can run around a little bit. He did a nice job, and he throws it okay. Okay, so he tries to run his own read, and Dom Alessio does a great job on the edge. Okay, now contain. We're talking about contain. The first portion of that game, I told the defensive ends, you want to make inside moves, go ahead, because that dude can't run outside. Like, we'll chase him down because he's hurt. So take some chances. Okay, against Avery Johnson, against Jackson Galecki this week, we can't take those chances. Against Luke Weaver, we probably should have adjusted a little bit quicker. Well, on this one, Dom Alessio does a great job. He shuffles squares and squeeze. Quarterback goes to pull the ball. Dom's right there, so instead of pulling it, he tries to give it back to the running back, and all of a sudden he fumbles it, and because we're in the backfield, Julian Savanea gets on the fumble for a recovery. Okay, that's Dom Alessio's sword right there, because that dude caused the fumble because of his contain where he was with the quarterback and made the quarterback an indecision. So you see it on there, well, the quarterback and the running back had an exchange. Yeah, because the quarterback tried to freaking pull the ball, and he didn't know what to do with it. So great job by Julian on the 10th series. Okay, so we get out the field, bam, to go score, and now we're cooking. So the message on the sideline at this point, okay, 8 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, Like, if you want to be great and do all those things and relate to what the Desert Storm did, like, you got to go out there and get another 3 and out. Just because the starters aren't in there doesn't mean that you relax and that oh, well, that guy's not in there. Bull. If you want to play and earn opportunities to play in the Big 12 so that if we get guys injured, you step up and there's no drop-off, then go out there and frickin' play. Well, the 11th series is a 15-play, 73-yard drive. Are you kidding me? You got 73 yards, okay? We have multiple third downs that we can get off the field, okay? And we don't. We've got an opportunity on 3rd and 1, the first opportunity. We have a 5-man rush. They've got 2 backs in the backfield, so they run a quarterback sneak. 3rd and 1 is going to be a lot of quarterback pull around the corner. Well, we number them, and the guy's supposed to sit there on the quarterback like Dom did on the field on the previous fumble. He squeezes to the running back. Quarterback pulls it, so they get the first down. They actually got 11 yards, which is freaking ridiculous on 3rd and 1. But they get 11 yards, okay? Next one, got another 3rd down opportunity, 3rd and 8. Gavin makes an outstanding play. 3rd and 8, incomplete, so 4th and 8. They're in that territory where they're probably going to go for it. I thought they were going to kind of run it on that one, so we kind of sent a mixed pressure of both take care of the run and pass. On the 4th and 8, blame that one on me. Because, one, I should have seen that those guys are a little gassed because they've been playing man coverage for the entire half, okay? It's 4th and 8. They did a great job. You've got 2 choices. You can either come with 7 and make sure you get there and get the ball out of his hand right now, okay? Take a chance as a screen hitting you, or you can drop 8. Well, my dumb tail did neither. We brought 6. They 6-man protected, picked it up. Quarterback throws it on timing and throws a dime. And Gavin's in a great spot. Maybe I transitioned to 2nd too soon, but they complete it for 4th and 8. Okay. Well, now you're down within 15 yards to go. You've got a 2nd and 6 down there, and Gavin gets called for holding. Okay. He's told PI now it's going to be 1st and goal on the 2, and the dude is exhausted. Now, here's Coach B. This is a great job being the head coach and being in charge and in tune. I yell at Brett at RC. I'm like, hey, get Coleman Patman ready. Let's go. Gavin's exhausted. And Coach B's like, you really want to put a true freshman in the red zone at this point? We're as much stress we're putting on. Now, no, the game's probably decided already, but putting a kid in a position to not be successful, good for you, Coach B. I'm like, yeah, we're good. Gavin's fine. Well, maybe Coach B saw the future because the premonition is the very next play we intercept the ball. Okay, sorry, 2 plays later. They run the ball. They throw a little concept. The running back drops it on a flip because Genesis jumps to him. And the very next one, Gavin intercepts the football. Okay. Now, I'm glad they didn't score because that's keeping them out of the freaking end zone. But at that point, I'm like pissed because we just gave up 73 yards. And now you go from having a pretty dang good day on defense to an average day of 290 yards. Okay. The 2 plays, the 12 play, 15 play, 59 on the second drive, and the 12 play, 73 yard on the last drive. If you don't give those up, you give up 158 yards if you get off the field on 3rd down. That's a dominating defense in today's day and age, 158 yards. But we didn't. We gave up 290. That's why we didn't dominate anybody. We kept them out of the end zone, which is positive. And then you got one more series, okay? 12 series now, they get a 1st down, but then we go, okay, you know what, let's end this thing. So we go pressure, so we get sack, miss sack. Now on that 12th drive, we missed 2 sacks because, one, we jump around Luke Weaver, and he's able to make us miss and gets verticals. That would have been sack number 6. And then we have another one where he ducks, and we're not able to get him on the ground. So that would have been sack number 7, which is too bad because that would have been a really good deal. And then they go 3 plays. So we're like, you know what? Let's just house the sucker and see if we can get him. So we go sack, tackle for loss on a run, and then the 3rd one we get an interception in the game. Jack Luttrell does a great job. And so there's your 12 series, okay? If we're going to play 15, we better have them in damn good shape to be able to run that much because I thought they were playing violent. The best part of the whole night was how violent they were and how hard they played. But the amount of mistakes that we made, we won't beat good teams doing that. And so that was the emphasis of practice today. Okay, eliminate those things. Now, there's your major improvement. There's your cleave shock. Major improvement should be significant assignment area adjustments. Now, in the front 7, we had 15 in the first half. We had 1 in the second. And all of a sudden, imagine that. It worked. Okay, that was my message to him. That was really sarcastic and smirky. But if they do what we practice, we can be okay if we maintain, stay healthy. And if they play as violent as they did, and I don't know if you guys saw it during the pregame, but it's like a Pop Warner game out there. We got bags pops up that the defense guys are hitting it while we're going team. That stuff is one, it gets the juices flowing. It gets me excited more than anything, I guess. But 2, it's violent. And that's how we're going to be all year long. Violent on every strike we get. And you saw how hard the front guys were playing. Tia's going to be a problem. Chase is going to be a problem. Malachi, when we get him under some rain, it's going to be a problem. Mays Pesci. Chancellor made a nice play, didn't get a ton of run. Bear didn't play at all. Julian played his tail off. Now Bear should get some run this week. Julian all the stuff that I talked about early on in camp, the dude's made his way on the field and made an impact. So up front, we've got the pieces if we can stay healthy and if they do it right, okay? We'll never make robots of them, I promise you that, because there's no way to play that way. But they got to understand what they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to be, and how they're supposed to do it. Know doing how to do it's the most important thing we have. And the red line piece of it, we played red line on Saturday night. For the effort part, the execution part, not good enough in the first half. So the accountability, own it, fix it. And that's what this week's about. It's a faceless opponent. And next week against Kansas State, it's a faceless opponent because we're our own worst enemy right now as a football team. And so if we can solve these things through the next 3 days and play Weber State and come with the same violence and then get ready for the next one and come with a straight violence, now you got a chance to be a good football team. We're not a good football team yet. We got a long way to go. And from coaches down, we got to do a better job to make sure in those moments in the middle eight that we don't screw that up and get them on and lay on the pile and all those things. So there's a lot of improvement. It felt good, but don't listen to that trap and all the stuff that all the nice things that people write about them. Don't listen to that nonsense because when you start believing you're good, you're going to get your tail whipped. And so I wish we had a team rule where they have to get rid of social media and all that stuff, but it's not realistic, so whatever. All right, so now we've got 30 minutes. Go ahead. What's the first question?
Thank you, Coach. Other than that, this is Lincoln. How was the play?
Exactly right. I'm still alive, so I guess it wasn't as bad for me as it was for President Lincoln. Rest his soul.
We're talking with Justin and then Michael.
So we talked to Coach Brennan yesterday about live tackling, and he said maybe with high-value players with the current state of college football, maybe you're reluctant to do the live tackling and maybe play guys and have them practice. How do you guys go about that?
We have a philosophy around here where now I'm with you on some of those pieces because forever the only way you really get good at doing something is to actually do it. So if you don't actually tackle, you're probably not going to be great at it early. When I was at the other school, Herm Edwards, they don't tackle in practice in the NFL. And so we didn't tackle one time live in spring or fall while he was there. And we were a pretty good tackling football team because that made me adapt and do some things that you didn't normally do because if you don't have my argument with him was, well, you guys played 4 preseason games. You're an NFL guy. You played 4 preseason games. You got to tackle for 4 games. We don't. Now it's only 3 preseason games. Now that you've got $20 million running around or whatever the number is, that's out of my league. You better take care of some of those pieces because if you don't and you lose a big investment, all of a sudden your team's hurt. And so adapting to some of the things we did, the bags and the way we move. Now we've got a dummy that you can move that has wheels and we can drive it around. We don't have anybody smart enough to drive it yet, but we'll figure that piece out, We get those things flying around. We got dummies that we hit every single day. We got donuts that move and roll around. Those aspects, how can you create movement and still tackle? Well, we don't break down around here. There is no stutter your feet, slow your feet. No. If you see a corner running up and trying to knife a wide out in half on a 5-yard route and he misses, I don't consider that a missed tackle because we got 2 or 3 other angry dudes that are going to get him within 1 to 2 yards. Now, if they get 4 or more or 3 or more yards on a yards after a catch, then it's a missed tackle. And it's not on those guys, it's on the guys that are pursuing to the football. So we do not break down. And you saw it on Saturday. We're going to run through the soul of somebody's body and see if we can knock the soul out of them. And so when you do that, it creates, 1, they get excited about it, 2, it's seek and destroy, and 3, you miss less tackles because of it, and I think it showed Saturday. We had 1 missed tackle on Saturday that I deemed a missed tackle. It was on the 3rd and 8. They run a little hitch route. Max is coming across, and he's going to gator roll, but he gator rolls to the hip. You got to gator roll at the knees. And so he slung him, and the guy went down for another 15 yards. Outside of that, we didn't miss a tackle. Now, that wasn't Max Harris's fault because the other 3 guys that were coming in are the ones that get credit with the missed tackle. The technique of what Max did on that play wasn't real good, but for all the plays that Max had a phenomenal night and did some really good things in there, the other 2 guys that missed on that are the ones that get credited with the missed tackle. So that's how we solve it.
Michael and Jason?
Clearly, the way that defensive backs were hitting their receivers was an impactful part of the game, but I also heard guys using the term launch on Saturday, and sometimes when you hear launch, you also think about targeting and you reference the technique that Genesis used on that one play. What are the coaching techniques that you're teaching to differentiate between maybe launching and getting that foul?
So 2 things: you can never hit them in the head. That's completely getting taken out of the game. Like any kind of headshot, whether you do it with a forearm, whether you do it with helmet to helmet, anytime you hit any opponent in the head, it's going to be targeting. So you eliminate that piece. You cannot go to the head violent anymore. You used to be able to. Now you can't, okay? You can't hit anybody with this portion of your helmet. Like one, it's not safe for you, but two, you're going to get told for targeting if you hit them anywhere on the body with the crown of your helmet right there, okay? Now, seeing what you hit, there's some difference in opinion on that. I'm big in seeing what you hit because when your face is here and all the stuff that we do, now I think you saw the vigilance of having 346 guys. I mean, 46, I wish we had 346. 46 guys that can power clean 300 pounds and the violence that comes with it and all those DBs that you're talking about that made the hits and the D linemen that are running the ball. That's because they have explosive power because of that. They all want to hit, and as they're coming through with contact, you want this part of your neck right here and all the neck stuff we do, you want that thing solid. Because when you go here, now you've exposed your spine, and that's when injuries happen. And when you see guys get hit on the side of the head, it's because they're here. That's because this is exposed. So it's see where you're at violently, and then everything we lead into when it's a contact, whether it be a guy in the air or they're coming across the middle. In today's day in football, if you hit them too hard, they're going to call a penalty. If you run through them near foot, near shoulder, so as you're trying to strike, your first foot closest to them is the first thing that comes, and then the near shoulder goes through it. Your head's out of the way. You see what you hit, and you avoid their head because you can't hit near shoulder. You can't hit the helmet with that. And so we do that every single day in practice. Okay, you saw it all fall camp. All the bags we're tackling, everything is near foot, near shoulder, driving through that, and then it's dominant contact up through the body, and so. If you launch, okay, you launch in the air, those launches are going to be the second and third guy in. They're not the initial contact. Unless you've got an angle and you can run this way, and now you launch like Trey Smith did on the third play of the game, okay? You're keeping your – now everything in football, every time you violently hit somebody, you've got to use your hands. When you do it with your body or your shoulder, one, it's soft, and two, you lose leverage or you lose the advantage of being able to strike. So – their hands should be miserable. Like by the fifth game, you shouldn't be able to tie your shoes. That's why you see all our guys walking around with slides on. Because your fingers are so violently used from being striking every single day that it should hurt like that. And so that's how we avoid the targeting aspect of it. And it is a huge emphasis every single day for one, safety, so that they can walk after they play. And two, so that we don't get guys thrown out. And that was perfect picture of Genesis knocking that ball out near foot, near shoulder. It's teach shape, so now we get to put that clip on there and say, this is exactly why we do this every single day.
Jason and Justin?
I know you kind of touched on it before, but how would you classify the linebacker play, and what would add in Riley Wilson back? I know you mentioned the radio.
Yep, last night, Riley Wilson will play this weekend. I thought Jabari Man played really well. We had a little wager in our office because I think Jabari Man's going to be a really good player. I won the wager. You can clarify whatever you want to think that bet was. But Jabari is really physical, 300-pound power cleaner, runs through with dominant contact. Max Harris, some of those guys, some of those things in coverage, all of a sudden they're dumping it to a back, and it looks like Max is getting exposed. It just happened to be him every time on Saturday night. Well, if I'm Max, I'm cussing out the D lineman in front of me who didn't run the stunt and take up that guy blocking him, and now you put me in a really bad position. But Max made some great tackles in open space when he shouldn't even have had to. Tay Brown did a great job. I thought they did a great job with disguising blitzes and coming from different angles. Riley Wilson adds to that. Chase Kennedy is dynamic both on and off the line of scrimmage. And Chase Kennedy, for all the doubters that thought he wouldn't be very good off the ball, did a really good job off the ball, minus one play on Saturday night. And he will continue to get better. So I think there was Jabari gives us some added depth that nobody expected. I thought Jabari was going to be really good last year because most of the time, running backs make really good linebackers, and he was a really good running back in high school. And so Max has a dynamic shift move. We're good. We can keep going. He has a dynamic shift move that makes him really hard to block. So if we can continue down that path, and there's potentially one or two more. Myron Robinson is close to getting back, and he's really smart for a true freshman. Carter Jones has done some really good things in practice. Okay, Blake Gocher gets healthy and continues to progress. We've got some guys that will give us some added depth as we go forward. And plus, it helps Coach Niver and our special teams with those depths. So we really need to get Myron back and then have those guys continue, Blake and Carter. And then Brandon Craddock, who's our starting, one of our starting bulls on the punt team. That dude might be the smartest guy on our team. And he made a mistake on Saturday night. Like, we've all made mistakes because of the excitement of playing. He can go out there and be exactly where he's supposed to be. And I trust that. So we've got pieces in there that we didn't have last year that makes it really nice.
Last two will be Justin and Mike.
So we just spoke to Malachi Bailey about his upbringing, how he got here. What impresses you about his rise to where he's at now?
Well, his godly numbers at Alcorn State, first off, make you excited, okay? And it doesn't matter what the competition is. When you have 28 sacks in that amount of time, you could be playing against air, and it's hard to get 28 sacks. So the dude has a very unique set of skills. Here we go again with the Justin Flo comment from last year. And Flo had 5 tackles, by the way, for UNLV. I'm so excited for that kid. Like, he's freaking playing his tail off, which is a perfect opportunity for him. But Malachi Bailey does some things that is really hard to block. He's really quick twitch for being as big as he is. I mean, he's almost 280 pounds, 272, I think it was yesterday. And he's got a presence on the edge. And he's one of those guys, like, one of the plays, understanding the entire scheme and what we're doing, and they're getting better at that every time. But we had a 4-man inside pressure, and he made an inside move on Luke Weaver that we had told them earlier, if Mike is in the game, go ahead and make that inside move because you'll be able to contain it and cut him off. Well, with Weaver in the game, he was able to get outside a little bit. Mally would have had 1.5 sacks and possibly 2.5 if he'd have made it on the 12th drive. But he comes inside and doesn't get vertical fast enough. Once he completely figures out, like, okay, I got this thing coming to me, he's going to have 3 or 4 more sacks just by being in the right spot. And that comes with practice, comes with knowledge of the scheme. I mean, all those things work in my brain because I've been doing this for 20-some years in the same scheme, 27. And so he is, and he's a neat kid. I mean, grew up in Atlanta. He graduated from Alcorn State, which is an HBCU, which is a really prestigious and really cool deal. One of the first in his family. And then came all the way to Arizona. And in the spring had a conversation because in the spring, I think there was a lot of, he didn't, I don't want to say he disappointed, but he wasn't as flashy and as good as we thought. And I think he was thinking a lot. And I'm like, well, hey, like, you're going to have a great fall camp to be able to earn the opportunities that you want. So if you want to get in the portal and you think you can find somewhere where there's a better opportunity to play, like, being honest, you better have 2 mindsets. No, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to prove you that you're wrong. And I'm going to do everything right in fall camp and be a great player, or I'm going to go find another spot. And the second I said it, he's like, I ain't going anywhere, and you're wrong. I'm like, well, good for you, okay? Because I hope I am wrong. And in fall camp, he proved me wrong from the spring. So 1, good for him, and 2, it's a benefit for our football team. And he's a really awesome kid. Like, he shouldn't say kid, he's a young man, and he's gonna have significant impact in our football team, which is awesome.
Finish up with Michael.
You mentioned some of the guys who are going to come back on Saturday. We haven't seen yet. Where do things stand with Traden at this point?
This one, Traden is a unique case because I want to make sure, and Gavin has given me this luxury. We plan on playing a long time and a lot of football. And so I want to make sure, Traden Stukes could have played on Saturday night. He is ready to go and chomping at the bit. We got a lot of football, and the experience that Gavin gained on Saturday night was really valuable, especially for our football team. So we're going to make sure that Traden is 1,000% ready to go, and he looks really good in practice. Like, we did some stuff today with them where he's running and conditioning so that we keep him in shape. And so I'm excited for Traden Stukes to get on the football field and play ball. We're going to make sure it's the perfect timing. And I've done this for a long time, and I have a really good feel. And Geronimo is friggin' awesome, and I'm really excited that with what he's done with some of our guys. And I think there's some things that are probably more conservative than I've been around, but the guys that have come back from this conservative treatment have been phenomenal, and so it's really smart. And when you're planning on, when you've got the CFP and there's 16 games, or you have a bowl game and there's the 12 guaranteed in the 13th, and if you get an opportunity to play in championship, and now you're accumulating all these games. 1, you better have depth so that you compete at the end part of the season, and 2, the longevity of having to play those. So with Traden Stukes, and I think Traden Stukes has an opportunity to be, he's going to have an opportunity to play in the NFL for a long time because he's got so much value as a football player in both special teams and what he is. He can play corner, he can play safety, dude can play linebacker. because of his knowledge. We're going to make sure that the timing is perfect. Marquise practiced today. We'll see how he is Wednesday, Thursday. And I think we proved that we've got 3 corners that were outstanding on Saturday between Michael and Boog, Javion Cole, and Aiden Garnes. And then John O'Price came in and had some really good plays. On the 11th drive, on the 11th drive, that was really frustrating. On a 2nd and 10, we had a holding call on Javion Cole. Now I don't think I can get in trouble for this. In my opinion, it wasn't holding. And I thought the referees did an outstanding job on Saturday night. They really did, because when there's not a lot of penalties thrown, the dead ball penalties kill you. When the ball, whether it's offsides or whether it's illegal formation or those things, like they actually destroy a football team. Holding, you can overcome that. I mean, pass interference, the plays that happen when the ball is live, that's going to happen. I thought Javion had he's coming off the ball. The guy, he's got his hands on his shoulder. Is they're hand fighting, and they both break at the inside. Dave thought he grabbed him. I didn't think he did, but I mean, they're going to call those. That's okay. And Genesis dropped an interception on that play. It was a 2nd and 10. I'm glad Genesis dropped it, because that would have been friggin' really, I mean, that's insulting at that point. Like, Jen dropped it. We should have intercepted the ball and not get a holding call. But it's good, because it's an opportunity. It's a lot easier to coach these guys up and tell them how terrible they were when you win 40-6 than it is if you lose and you tell them how terrible you are. Now you have to build up their confidence. So the reality is, are we good yet? No. Do we play hard? Yes. And that gives you a chance to overcome some of the mistakes we made. But we got to make huge improvement with the old cliche between week 1 and 2. And then we got to continue to progress every single week to be the football team that we want to be. So I'm excited about who we are. We got to coach them better on our side of the ball in the defense. We got to play better, not make mistakes, know what to do and how to do it, and eliminate those possibilities of giving up big plays. But we only had 2 explosive passes on Saturday night, one for, and that's over 15 yards. We had one for 23 and one for 19. And then 2 explosive runs that are over 10 yards. And we shouldn't have had any of those. Those ones really pissed me off. So you're going to see a huge emphasis, because we will +1 people and not allow people to run the ball. And sometimes that's going to mean we put the DBs in some really precarious positions to make plays. Well, you know what? I told them at halftime, if you all can cover these suckers, we'll get the quarterback out of the game. And they covered them. They did a great job. So we've got that ability, but it drives me crazy that we gave up 67 yards rushing and we gave up 290 yards. We should have been a 158-yard game, and that's a dominant defense in today's age of football. 290 is not. I mean, it's good. It's okay. I mean, it's frustrating, but whatever. We get an opportunity to play this Saturday. And then now you've got the old cliche, okay, we're 1-0. Okay, well, let's go 1-0 this week. Whatever. You know what? We got to be 1-0 today. Like, today was a really good practice, I thought. The energy and the effort was good. We got to continue to progress that, because if you want to be a great football team and be dominant, you have a faceless opponent every week. You can't just get up because it's Kansas State, or you can't get up because it's Hawaii because it's game 1, or you can't get up because it's Weaver State and they're going to come in here and try and – I mean, we have so many more things than they do, but guess what? When somebody has something more than you, you come in there and try and take it from them. And so they'll be in here. I mean, they play hard. They play really hard. And JMU's a good football team. They're 3 or 4 plays away from breaking some plays that make that a completely different football game. So if our guys take the attitude of it's going to be easy, we'll get our tails whipped. That's human nature. If they start listening to all y'all talk about, oh, you know, they're great and all this. Now, keep writing. I mean, the stuff about the first half and some of the articles, like, oh, they ran the ball on your – yeah, they heard that a whole bunch yesterday. Even the whole freaking city of Tucson thought they ran the ball on your tail. So that stuff, like, that drives me freaking nuts when people can run the ball. And 67 yards in today's game, is that a lot of rushing? No, but for a team that doesn't want to run the ball and they run it on you 67 yards, that's on me. So that will be solved. I promise you that. Like, there's a big emphasis today. What else we got?
That's it.
That's it, Brett? Okay, how long were we, Coach here?
38.
You did? Well, there we go. Well, hey, last one was 40-something, so there we go. Now, I won't give you a dissertation on the play-by-play every week. I can, but I won't. I mean, there's things that stick in my brain. Like, I've got this freakish memory or whatever, that, like, we had back in 23 at Texas A&M, we had, like, when I talked about, you know, on a 4th and 8, you bring 7 or you drop 8, one of the two. I mean, you want to get out of the opportunity. Well, we had an opportunity to get off the field, and we sent a 7-man pressure, and obviously I didn't coach it well enough because the safety was late. And, like, on those, you cannot be late. And we hit the quarterback that's playing right now for King. They played Saturday.
Kentucky?
Goodness gracious. There you go, Georgia Tech, yes. We hit him right as he threw it, and he completed a dime on 3rd and 7 when we should have freaking taken his soul, but the guy hit it late. So, Like, those things don't get out of my brain. So I'm laying there at night, on Saturday night, and I'm going through every single series, and I'm getting pissed off because in my mind they're still running the ball when we should be canceling these gaps and annihilating the opportunity, and they're still calling zones. So I'm looking across the field at Team Chang like, you sucker, go ahead and run it again. Like, run it again. Let's see if this continues to happen. And for 67 yards it did, so we will solve that problem.